Have a Seat in My Chair with Brittany Nicole. This show is about unlocking the vault on all things hair, from texture, lifestyle, and the psychological effects that we go through from day to day dealing with our hair. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Have a Seat in My Chair. So, first things first, I forgot to put the intro music on the last episode. Sorry, I was tired, but I still put it out. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, I have been listening to this book, and some of you know I don't really do audiobooks, and I have been getting more convinced to do audiobooks because I have not been able to sit down and read all these books. So, like, instead, when I'm driving to work, now I am like tuning into an audiobook. It's just finding a good enough entertaining one, I guess. But my mom actually was like, you need to listen to Viola Davis' book. It's so good, yada, yada, yada. And I believed her. I just never was making the time to read the book because I have the physical version as well, but I just haven't got around to it. So I was like, it just like randomly popped up on my Spotify, and I was like, let me just listen to it. And I'm only on, I think, like chapter 6, but she has such an interesting childhood. I'm still in the childhood part, but she has been through so much. It's just a little girl and like so much trauma. And just to see where she is now is really fascinating and inspirational and motivational. And when I think about her, like in her image, she is a super beautiful woman and person, but we've seen her get like super raw down to the bare minimum. And I think it's cool because you rarely see like an actress really unveil herself. And just to see how she can like turn it up and turn it down, but still have beauty even at her rawest, I think is really amazing. And I think to be able to do that really comes from the inside out. So images and everything. Sometimes it's inside of you that makes you beautiful, regardless of all of the enhancements that we can do to ourselves. So, I just wanted to point that out. Like, you need to check her book out. And, um, you know, she can actually be like a guiding light to some people who don't feel good about themselves. But you just know that your soul is good inside and it can shine through even on your worst days. And that can be beautiful enough. Also, she said a quote that stood out to me because, as you guys know, like I'm going through a lot of changes and transitions just within myself and my career, and just kind of figuring out where to land and pivot. And she has a quote in her book. The book is called Finding Me. And the quote that stood out to me was, the quote is, my biggest discovery was that you can literally recreate your life. You can redefine it. You don't have to live in the past. And I think that's so true, even when it comes to our hair, right? Like, we have so many bad traumatic experiences when it comes to our hair. Maybe our whole childhood it didn't grow, or when we were young, our parents put a relaxer in our hair. Now it's just never been the same. Or maybe you had long hair and then for some reason something happened and it's short now and it can't grow back. But if you can find the right way to make your hair thrive, you can redefine your hair trauma, and you can redefine some of the things that weren't working for you and now find new things that work to get you the results that you want. So I thought it was interesting, like an interesting parallel in how that quote also can also be in comparison to some of the experiences that we have had with our hair. So thank her. I want to thank her for that quote. It meant something to me, and I'm sure it probably registers to you guys too. So shout out to Viola. She's my inspiration for this week. She's so cool, and I can't wait to listen to the rest of her book. Okay, now I want to talk about something. I how do I say it? I'm kind of sick of these blonde wigs that. No, no, no. Let me take it back. Let me just say wigs in general. Aren't they hot? Aren't you guys just hot in these wigs? I mean, and this is part of like why I'm so like, you gotta get your hair back. You gotta have hair. You gotta have hair. You gotta have hair. You can't be having no edges. You can't be like treating your hair bad, because one day you're just gonna be stuck in the wig and you can't get out. And it's like, why would you deliberately put your head in shackles for no reason? I get like you can change your style and the color and stuff all the time, but like, is that everything to you? I don't know. I'm getting kind of disturbed. Like, it was like 100 degrees the other day, and this lady had like this super hot wig on, and she just looked so hot, and it was just melting. And I'm like, what do you have underneath there? Because for you to be suffering like this must mean that you have to have this on. And then I just felt sad for her and bad for her, because there are people who have like genetically predisposed hair loss situations. And then there's people who give their own self some hair loss issues on purpose. And I'm getting kind of like fed up with the negligence. We got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. It's like my friend showed me this picture of her friend, and I'm like, this is a grown lady, and hair was just ruined. Like, first of all, okay, you have gray, you want to color it, that's fine. But why you gotta color it to a color that you know your hair can't handle, and you keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again? And now and you only had a bob, okay? And that was just off of like, because God graced you with a bob. Like, and then you went and now have some little shag because you burnt up all the inches that even gave you a bob, because you just gotta have this color. But like, the color don't even hit right if you don't have the hair for the color. So why do we gotta have the color so bad to where we're now looking just like a long-haired chihuahua or something? I just don't understand. Can you guys please help me understand why we gotta just have these things so badly to where it's like, it doesn't look good. We know it doesn't look good. And you still don't even like touch your color up enough to where we don't know that it's gray at the root anyway. So it's like, it's not cute, and it's not gonna be cute. And then you don't even take care of it. You don't condition it. You don't do anything. And then you want to run and cry and hop around all these new hairstylists and be like, why isn't my hair growing back? When I went to this last stylist or whatever, my hair wasn't like that. Now I'm going to you and my hair is breaking off and blah, blah, blah. Not even mentioning that you broke it off to begin with. So that leads me to my topic of today. The topic is called Don't Be Mad at Me, Be Mad at Her. Don't micromanage your hairstylist. This topic came to me thinking about a hair story or two. So I had these two clients, they were sisters, right? And first, they got referred to me by somebody. And so first I do the first sister, right? And usually, like, sisters and families and everybody runs in a pack. So if the mom goes, the daughter goes. If the sister goes, the other sister goes, and the kids come and blah, blah, blah. But usually they all kind of operate off of one brain. So if one sister has a good experience, they all end up having a good experience. If one sister has a bad experience or is paranoid or a hypochondriac, somehow she like fuels that type of thinking into the whole entire family. And then it's just like, now it's like 5 people against you. And it's ridiculous. So I have this one lady because let me just tell you the story. So she got highlights at her regular lady, right? And she started coming to me because she saw all the results that was happening with my client. So of course she's like, oh my God, can I get her number? And blah, blah, blah. And usually I'm like, don't even give out my number because I don't want to deal with it. People just don't understand. Like, when you come to me, it's like a whole nother thing. I'm actually trying to help you here. But I realized people don't really want help. They just want to boss you around. Some people want the help. Some people just want to boss you around. Some people aren't accountable for their hair problems. Okay. Now, this lady had a hairstylist already, but she liked my client's hair. Okay, that's cool. Thank you. But this lady also was entering into menopause. Okay. She let the lady who used to do her hair put highlights in it and color it. Okay. That's fine. But you're coming to me because you're looking for something that she's not giving you. I understand that too. Now, she starts coming to me and she has these highlights, right? She's like, I just got color and she just put highlights on my hair. Now, the lady's been covering up gray. And I don't know if you guys know, but I'm just going to tell you the only way to remove color, and I mean if you are a brown or black and you want to go lighter and you want caramel highlights or blonde highlights or whatever, you have to remove the color. And the only way I know how to remove color effectively is with bleach, right? I also want to say, when you cover gray, you can cover it all types of ways. You can use permanent color. You can use different strengths of permanent color. You can use semi-permanent color, and you can use demi-permanent color. But once you apply lightener or bleach, it will all lift different on the hair, and it can give you different amounts of different amounts of damage, or damage isn't the word I want to use, but let's just say damage for now. Then you'll get like spots, right? So some spots within the strand will be like weaker than other. Okay? So when she came, the highlights were blotchy, which means to me, you have all different types of colors that she was using to cover your gray because it wasn't a consistent tone when she lifted. Like, bleach is like an eraser. Like, once you put it on, you can kind of see the story of what your hair went through. So it was either that she had all different strengths of color that dyed her hair or colored the gray, or the bleach wasn't applied evenly on the strand. So the parts that have more bleach lift higher or faster than the parts that, or the sections that don't have a lot of bleach on it. So anyway, I'm looking through her hair and I'm like, oh, okay, like you have highlights. It looks like she bleached it. And then the lady's like, no, 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 she didn't bleach my hair. She just put highlights in it. I'm like, ma'am, the only way she could put the highlights in if you've been covering gray is to bleach it, right? She's like, no, she didn't do that. She didn't do that. I'm like, how do you know? Okay? Anyway, you came here for me to do a job. I'm trying to do it, and now you're trying to micromanage me like I don't know what I'm talking about. Why are we sitting here even talking about this? You know, like I'm already getting a funny feeling by like appointment number 1, appointment number 2. So then it comes time for me to cover her gray, right? Because now the gray she had is like grown out and she needs her hair colored, right? Now, everyone knows I use top of the line stuff. Like, you're not going to come to my chair and get hardly anything you can find at the beauty supply. So, off top, like, I know, like, I'm using high quality products. Okay. She comes in, and maybe this is like a few months later. And I think this relationship lasted maybe 5 or 6 months. Maybe. But anyway, so she comes in and she's like, I think my hair is starting to shed. Is it something wrong with your shampoo or like what is it? And I'm just like, I really don't know what it could be. Like I don't have this issue at all. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, did anything traumatic happen in your life? Are you stressed out or whatever? And then she's like, no, no, everything's fine. I really don't know what's going on. Come to find out, weeks later, she's going through a divorce. Traumatic. Okay. And on top of menopause. Okay. Those are two things that can cause major hair shedding. And we know the older we get, we're turning back into babies. Okay. What baby do you know with a head full of hair? Hardly any. I don't know any. I know babies lose teeth or don't have teeth and don't have any hair. The older we get, I mean, you want to walk in a senior citizen home, what do you see? Toothless, hair thinning out old people, okay? I feel like after 35, we start going backwards. So this lady's hitting like 50-ish, okay? So, yeah, just off GP, you're going to get some hair loss, okay? Your hair is going to start turning back into a baby. So, on top of that, you got this badly bleached highlight job, and then you're in menopause, and then you're stressed out because you're getting a divorce. How is all that my fault that your hair is shedding? And I'm like, and I'm telling you, ma'am, sometimes it takes 3 to 6 months for our trauma to show up in our hair, but eventually it will show. And then I ask, what type of strands are coming out? Are they long? Are they short? Are they the color of these highlights? Like, what's going on? She can't get a clear answer at all. In my mind, I didn't see a lot of shedding besides what was normal shedding. Because in case you guys don't know, you do shed 100 to 150 hairs a day. Also, when your hair gets dirtier after like day 10, day 7 of not washing your hair, you're gonna start getting some shedding. So I'm taking all that into account. And then if she's saying that her hair is shedding, I'm like, okay, you must be stressed, medication, something. And I'm like, but just in case it is me, let me switch up the shampoo. Let me switch up whatever. Like, I'm like, you could even bring your own stuff if you really feel that type of way. So then after that, Now somehow the daughter is like, oh, I think my hair is shedding too. And I was just like, somehow the two of you out of hundreds of people are like, my hair is shedding. So I'm just like, you know what? I was like, I don't really have this issue. You see everything I'm using, every single product is is on the shelf. You can see everything that I'm doing. Why don't you bring your own stuff and then we can see how it goes, right? No, no, no. I'm not saying it's anything that you're doing. I'm just saying maybe you could try to change up what you're doing. And I'm like, you know what? There are only special occasions that I'm going to buy certain shampoo for certain people. One, that's if you have a scalp issue or you need some type of medication. Two, if I know I have enough of a group of people like this special shampoo that I buy for people with gray hair. I have a lot of gray haired people. I'm going to go and specifically get the shampoo and stuff that I like. But if you're just getting a general service, I'm not finna go to the store just for you being a hypochondriac to get you special shampoo. When if it's really that big of a deal, you can go get your own shampoo and bring it to me, which I still don't like doing, but I'll do it just to appease you, to change, to make you feel more comfortable. Because I don't mind. Maybe I don't got it all. Maybe whatever. But like everything that I'm doing is not promoting any type of hair loss. So I'm already irritated, right? So then the next appointment, she's like, it's shedding some more, shedding some more. So I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to break up. And you can go back to that lady and she can put those highlights back in your head or do whatever y'all want to do. But you're not going to come over here and like harass me that you think that I'm making your hair shed when I have 110 factual reasons why your hair is actually shedding. But you don't want to think that can't possibly be the truth. It has to be something I'm doing. So she came in on a Sunday and I was like, come in, let me just see like what you're talking about. Cause she was trying to make it seem like she's going bald. And so she came in, I didn't see anything that looked ridiculous. But I was just like, unfortunately, I don't think I'm the hairstylist for you. And then she looked shocked. And I was like, it's okay. I was like, you basically are accusing me of making your hair thin or shed or whatever. I am not about to go to the store and buy something specifically for you and you're like a new client when I know that my system works very well for most of my clients except you. So it's just not worth it to invest in something new for something that you don't even really want to admit could be the problem. Like you don't even want to consider it. You're just saying no, no, no to me. And I'm like, I'm the professional and I'm not finna fight with you. So I told the lady, I was like, I wish you well on your hair journey, but I won't be doing your hair anymore. And then she looked all shocked and I was just like, don't be shocked. Because when you're unhappy, regardless of what it is, I think everybody should break up. Because sometimes there is no convincing anybody about anything. And I feel very confident about my skill level and what I'm doing. So the whole point of this story is like if you are a hairstylist and you're dealing with somebody who is making you feel like you don't know what you're doing when you know what you're doing, you need to let them go because people like that are super toxic and they will try to kill you and make you hate your job and make you second guess yourself. And if you're a client and you don't like where you're sitting and you don't like the new person, maybe you just don't like them or maybe it's just something that's off and that's fine too if that was the case, but like don't start like accusing them of things that are kind of out of their control. Like a shampoo and a blow dry is not making anyone's hair shed. Like, I even went so far as like, what temperature do you want me to use on your hair? Like, whatever. I'm not too hard up to be accommodating to specific things, but like, if no matter what I do, it's almost like she made it like just touching her made her hair fall out, and that's just crazy. So like, if you feel that way about a hairstylist, just don't go to them anymore. Just stop. They at that point they shouldn't have to fire you. You should just fire them and be like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna try something different. Or maybe you're just more comfortable with who you were going to, and maybe you fell out with them and you were trying to go somewhere else. But like, maybe if you really like somebody, you should try to make it work, because you try to go somewhere new and maybe that person may not like you and may have boundaries. And I've been hearing a lot of people don't really expect hairstylists to have boundaries. But guess what? We are sick of getting abused by people that don't appreciate us. And we're taking a stand and we're fighting for our rights. And I know I am. And I'm an advocate for any hairstylist that needs to fight for their rights, because some people just don't appreciate us and they don't appreciate our skill level, and they think they could just treat us any type of way. And it's not right. So don't be a micromanager to your hairstylist. You need to trust them as a professional, or leave them alone. Most of the time, when there are some obvious issues, you will be able to see it right in front of your face. If it's some phantom type of something, then I don't know. Just go back to where you was going to be more comfortable. So that's that on that. Now I have a listener question from Karma. She is the best at sending me emails to answer some questions. Thank you, Karma. Um she wants to know, if you have long hair, how do you wrap it? Let me read this email. Okay, the email says, when wrapping your hair, do you part down the middle in the back and start wrapping clockwise from the back and carry it around to the front, or start in the front wrapping clockwise and carry to the back continuously until all hair is wrapped? Also, how do you prevent from having creases in your hair when wrapping? Okay, so first I'm going to start with the first part. When you wrap your hair, when I wrap hair, I like to start in the front. Usually, and it really depends on which way you wrap your hair. You could be a left person or a right person. It really just depends on like if you are a side part or what side your part is, or in the middle or whatever. But typically I wrap my hair clockwise. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to first part my hair from ear to ear, okay? Because I want to disconnect the front from the back. A lot of the hair overwhelmingness in wrapping is the wrong tools and not kind of sectioning the hair to control it. It's about controlling it, okay? So I like to use a paddle brush because I feel like it detangles and smooths and has like a good grip and kind of keeps the hair in place as you're wrapping it. So first thing you want to do after you part your hair ear to ear is like brush it all the way, like detangle it, all the tangles out, and kind of brush it going towards your face in the front. In the back, you're going to brush towards the back. Then I like to start in the middle and bring the first section to one ear. But I'm going to start like slowly kind of bringing it around my head, but not all the way, just like in like a round motion, right? Like the first section, I'm just brushing it to go behind my ear, but I'm not going to the nape of my neck or anything. Then I'm going to go to the next section on the left and bring that into the previous section to start going around my head, right? Because if I start all the way on the left and go around, then I may not smooth out the underneath, right? So then I go from the far left all the way around to behind my ear, and I'm slowly taking my left hand as I'm like smoothing with my brush to start working the hair around and around. So now I'm like 3 sections in. I got the first section, which is the one from the middle to the right. And then I have the left section that went into the right. And then now it's starting to wrap around my head and I'm in the back section. But then I kind of stop because now I need to get the section behind my left ear. Oh, mind you, I'm working in 4 sections, okay? So I need to get the section behind my left ear wrapped in there. So I'm going to stop and get the back section and brush that into the previous section. And now as I go around, I should have a fully combed out, detangled wrap going around my head clockwise. If you wrap your hair, you should understand what I'm saying. I know it sounds complicated. And then you just wrap and keep spinning that brush around the circle. And like once you put your scarf on, if the hair falls out, just stick the hair back under there and spin the wrap and keep spinning it, spinning it, spinning it. Now, typically, I notice people get creases in their hair when they sleep with bobby pins. Don't sleep with bobby pins. If you need them in there as a placeholder, put them in low enough where you could slide it out after you get your scarf on. Because bobby pins also cause hair breakage too. So I definitely wouldn't sleep in a bobby pin if you could help it. I recommend getting the long, smooth bobby pins if you gotta use a bobby pin, and don't use more than 4. And then if you keep it to where it can be like accessible to like lift up the scarf and pull it out, then I will pull it out before you go to bed. Because if you sleep in that, it can break your hair off, and that's not, in the long run, that's not going to be cute. Also, if you put knots in the wrong places when you tie your scarf, you can get creases too. So I personally don't like to put the knot in the front of my head. I like to put the knot in the back of my head, and I use a scarf big enough where the knot is on top of the scarf and not on my hair. If that makes any sense to you. I'll have to make a tutorial, but just make sure your scarf is big enough. Put the knot on top of the scarf versus like letting the knot touch your hair. The scarf itself should cover your whole head before you tie a knot to secure it. And then lately I've been doubling up a scarf and a bonnet, and it hasn't been slipping, and I like it, and maybe you guys should try it too. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. So we're down to 2 more episodes before before the season is over. So I'm super excited about that. This is episode 13. I think after the next one, I'm probably gonna take a break for like a week and see if I can get this special guest on for the last episode. I think that would be fun, but we'll see how it goes. If not, I'll definitely try to get them on for season 2. Also, I decided that the episode is just going to come out on Monday. Committing to Monday morning is tough for me because Sundays are rough to get it out, but definitely Monday is working. It just may not be Monday at 9. Some days it might be, some days it might not be. So just bear with me on that. But thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. and email me your questions at yourewelcometosit@gmail.com. And I hope you guys have a great week.